Hello Internet, this will be the final video for box office predictions for summer 2019. And as with every summer, we start off strong and then we end on a quiet note. And this summer will be no exception, as the only movie that I think will have any real box office potential is the Angry Birds movie 2. Yep, we officially reached the doldrums of August. And the only other movie that has any real potential is Good Boys, but I think that will be a modest performer, in comparison. But what I do think will happen is that, kids will likely buy tickets to see Angry Birds 2, but sneak in to see Good Boys. That would not surprise me. But let's go over its pros and cons at the box office. So its pros: no real competition. This is an easy victory for Angry Birds 2 because Dora and Hobbs and Shaw will be 2 weeks old. I'm predicting Artemis Fowl will bomb so bad that it won't even be a factor. And I know there's this Playmobil movie, but come on, who is going to watch that? I'll tell you who. Nobody. So this movie has a very easy path to victory, path to profitability, and a path to number one. It'll likely be number one for a few weeks because the last couple weeks of August are going to be abysmal. So, I got to give it to Sony being smart when it comes to their scheduling. When it comes to this, kind of reminds me of when they did the Emoji Movie in late July, like 2 years ago. And I know the Emoji Movie is an abomination. I know that. I saw it. But with a lack of kid-family films, it was able to hold up very well and end up making money. And I think the same will happen with Angry Birds 2. But we have to go over its cons. See, the thing is, Emoji Movie was not a sequel. That was a first-time film. This is a sequel. In 2019, when it comes to animated sequels, we'll already have a few. There was Lego Movie 2, there was How to Train Your Dragon 3, there was Secret Life of Pets 2, and there was Toy Story 4. Now, Lego Movie 2 bombed hard, and How to Train Your Dragon 3, although it did well, it didn't do as well as its predecessor. And, I know they haven't come out yet, but it's a good chance that Secret Life of Pets 2 and Toy Story 4 will make less than their predecessors. At least domestically. Worldwide, that's a different story. That's a question mark. So, this movie can either go two ways. It can either be a Lego Movie 2, or it could be a How to Train Your Dragon 3, where it retains a majority of its predecessors, earnings. And I do think it will be a How to Train Your Dragon 3 when it comes to that, but it will not make more than its predecessor. And that's mainly because its predecessor wasn't particularly well liked. I mean, sure, it had nice animation and it had a pretty decent climax, but the story was lacking, characters were lacking, the jokes were lacking, and it wasn't memorable. So those three things are going to hurt this sequel, because this sequel has the whole, it falls into the category of, why is this even made? Who asked for this? Well, we already know who asked for this. Executives. Because the first first Angry Birds movie, because of the little thing called a curiosity factor, it made money. But just because the first movie makes money doesn't mean the second movie will make money. And if a sequel does better than its predecessor, it needs to be well liked. That's not the case here. So, overall, I do think this will perform all right. In terms of August, it might be the second biggest movie of the month, behind obviously Hobbs and Shaw. And so, opening weekend wise, I think it will open between 30 and 35, unless something horrible happens. And then I think it'll reach at least 100 million domestically, thanks to a lack of upcoming films. Worldwide, that's a kind of a question mark. It'll probably make as much as its predecessor, maybe even more internationally. I mean, you never know. So probably above 300. So yeah, that's it. That's the summer for you. We went over pretty much all the big movies, or potentially big movies. So, overall, which one would be the biggest? Endgame, obviously. Endgame will be the big winner, no doubt. Big loser? Artemis Fowl. That movie looks like a dud from a mile away, and it would not surprise me if it made... it'll probably make even less than, Lone Ranger numbers or Tomorrowland numbers. So, yes, that is all for summer. I might do fall because there are a couple of big movies coming out in the fall. I might do that. And then there's, of course, winter. There's a lot of big movies there. So, we'll have to see about that. But make sure to subscribe if you want to go check out my other predictions. I put up a whole playlist. You can check that out. But yeah, that is all, folks, and I am out.